Yay, how exciting. Good morning, ladies. All right. So hopefully you're all here to get your house in order. We're going to talk about many aspects of moving. And then this is interactive. So if you have questions, you want to ask anything or add anything, this is an interactive presentation, which means I don't want to just hear myself talk because I already know the content and I'm boring to myself. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So for those who don't know Elderwerks, which you should because you're all here today, Elderwerks is a not-for-profit 501c3. We help any senior, family, or older adult looking for information on aging. We are like senior guidance counselors. We can help anyone, any age actually. If someone has a question about aging, anything aging, such as Medicare, how to live at home well, maybe legal information, we can get you anything you need, and we are a complimentary service. So you can call us every day if you'd like. Emily answers the phone, just keep bugging her, she'll love that. So we offer senior living coordination, advocacy, and education. What that means to you is that we can help you with most of your questions and issues. So there's our little bit of a commercial there. It's very exciting. So today we're going to talk about a successful foundation for successful aging. So we're going to talk about legal aspects, financial, the benefits that you may or may not be able to receive, living choices, and end of life. End of life is part of living. You know, everybody has to live and then die, right? So we have to talk about all of that. It's very important, especially when you're planning. So we'll just go ahead and punch through this. First thing you need to know is the legal side. I am not an attorney. I do refer to elder law attorneys every day of the week. Elder law attorneys are educated on helping people with older adult issues. And not all of them do the same things. So an elder law attorney can help you with estate planning. They can help you with just your general power of attorney. They also help you with trusts, different kinds of trusts, revocable, irrevocable, special needs, everything to help protect your assets for your future use or your loved one's use. And then some help with Medicaid planning and some help with guardianship issues. They're all different. So if you need an elder law attorney and you don't know who to talk to, feel free to call Elderwerks and we'll give you the right elder law attorneys to interview. Okay.
Okay.
So there's differences of power of attorney. There's two types. There's power of attorney for healthcare and power of attorney for property, also known as financial. Okay, so the power of attorney for healthcare, you can actually download this piece of paper right from the internet in any state you're in, especially if you're in a hospital and you need someone there for yourself. You do not really need a witness or a notary. However, if you are doing this for yourself for future use, I would definitely have everything notarized and witnessed. Healthcare power of attorney just helps someone when someone's incapacitated to make healthcare decisions. They can't pay for anything, but they can make decisions on your health. So what does that mean to you? Let's say you get hit by a car and you're in the hospital and you're not awake. Okay, you might just be sleeping. You might have had an injury to your brain, or maybe you have a drug-induced coma, just so you heal. Whatever it is, you can't make decisions. So you want someone there who you trust to make the decision for you. Okay, and whatever that means to you. So you don't want someone in there who's emotional and can't do what you want. All right. You may love someone really, love them a lot, but they may be emotional and not be able to say, you know what, my loved one wants me to not do extraordinary measures, or my loved one doesn't want me to do CPR. So if that person's not going to be able to do that, don't appoint them your power of attorney for healthcare. Okay. This is also for senior living. So if you are incapacitated and need to move to any type of senior living, they're the ones that are going to help you find that. They're going to be able to make that decision. The power of attorney for property manages all of your assets. They pay your bills. They're the fiduciary for you when you're not able to do it yourself. And that is an important job. So this is all while you're alive. Power of attorney is for while you're alive. What I can tell you is you do not want to assign power of attorney of property to anyone you don't trust, because they're now in charge of your money. They're in charge of your house. They're in charge of paying your bills, your checking account, your savings account, your investments. So if they're a gambler or you have questions, Do not make them your power of attorney for property. Okay? A power of attorney for property must be, that's a legal document that must be witnessed, and it has to be signed by a notary. Okay? Your witnesses cannot be family. They have to be external witnesses. They can be a friend, they can be a banker, your financial advisor, or anyone like that. Okay? Not family. If you have any questions, stop me, please. Okay. Now we're going to generally talk about your trusts, wills and trusts. Again, I am not an attorney. If you have really deep and in-depth questions, I'm going to send you on your merry way. Okay. A will just tells the judge who gets what. I want Bobby to have the car. I want Susie to have my diamond ring, etc., etc. That's all it does. It does not avoid probate, which means the state gets more money. The attorneys get more money. Your state gets less if you do not have anything else in place. A will is just saying, here's what I want. A revocable, irrevocable, and special needs trust are put in place to make sure your assets don't go through probate. They're to help protect your assets. Everything has to go through probate, but it's not as long, it's less costly if you have a trust, okay? So anyone who owns a house, the house should be in trust, period. All right, so if something happens to you and you pass away, it immediately goes to the person you assign as the beneficiary. It can be your spouse, it can be your kids, it can be the church, it can be anyone you want, okay? That has to be put in place to avoid issues down the road. So if you pass away and you don't have the house in trust or any trust, now the house gets to go in probate and it's a pain in the butt, okay? Revocable trust means that the trust can be changed. The property inside the trust transfers only after death. Okay, a revocable trust means today, this is my assets, everything's in here, I love my family, everybody's in there, I have successor trustees, yada, yada, yada. But tomorrow, maybe I don't like my family. I don't like them anymore. I can revoke that trust and make changes. All right. And it's good, but it's still your asset. It is an asset. So you can still use all that asset. So let's say as you age, you need to go into a memory care facility. Your trust is put in place to help save your assets, right? But if you are running out of money, that trust, because it's in your name, is still yours. So the government sees it and they will use those assets to pay for your care. Does everyone understand that?
Oh.
Okay. No, you don't understand. Judy, do you have a question about that? You want me to explain something a little bit further?
If you could, a little bit more detail.
Okay, so a revocable trust means, let's say my revocable trust, this is my revocable trust. I love everybody in this trust. I can make changes to this trust. So today I like someone, tomorrow I don't, I can change it. Or I can add something in it and take something out. So if I have an investment I want to pull out, I can. All right. I live my life, everything's fine. This is the trust of Jennifer Prell. Okay, the revocable trust of Jennifer Prell, which means it's my asset. This is money. Okay, think of it as money. This is all my money. Now I move into a community, I lose my mind, which I'm going to, just so you're aware. I'm going to get dementia. It's family trait. So good. I have this trust. I pay for my care and I'm running out of money. Okay. They will use the money in here. I have to use the money in my trust for my care. It's not protected from anybody who wants the asset. So let's say I want to go on Medicaid and there's $200,000 in here. Medicaid will say, sorry, you need to spend this $200,000 before you can go on Medicaid. Everyone understand?
Oh.
Okay, now.
How do we avoid that?
How do you avoid it? You do an irrevocable trust. Now, an irrevocable trust means you cannot change it. Everything in there stays there. If it's in your name, it's still your asset and you have to use that for your care as you age. Okay. Let's say you trust your kids 100%. So for instance, I trust my kids 100%. I would make an irrevocable trust in my children's name. So all my assets are in there. Let's say I have $500,000, which would be lovely, in this trust. So it'd be the trust of ABC children, right? Whoever's children they are. So they own this trust. Now it's not my asset anymore. It is their asset. Everything in that asset, sorry.
I'm sorry. So you're
That's-
trusting your children
Or
to
your
use-
friend or anybody that you trust 100%. You do not do this if you don't trust them 100%.
Hmm.
Because they own it. It's their asset. So I trust my children. I put all my assets in the irrevocable trust. And as I age, I need care. They pay for the care through my trust. They can pay my bills through the trust. They can do everything through the trust. The trust is taxable. All the taxes is paid by the trust. Okay. So let's say I age and I need a lot of care and I need to spend $10,000 to $20,000 a month. That's going to be more than this trust. I'll go through the trust very quickly. So I won't have any money for hair care, clothing, a new bed, a new TV, the things that I would need as I age. So what my kids would do is, as long as this trust is 5 years and 1 day, they can apply for Medicaid. Medicaid has a 5-year look back of assets. Okay, so for those 5 years, this still shows as my asset. All right, it shows that I had this asset. It's not my asset anymore, but they show it. They would say you have to pay this back if it's, let's say it's 4 years in. They'll say you have to pay back all the money that you had before you can go on Medicaid because it's before the 5 years. If it's 5 year and 1 day, they no longer see the asset. Does everyone understand that? Okay. This is only what you do. You do an irrevocable trust only if you're trying to protect assets for future planning and future use. And you trust whoever you make as the beneficiary or the owner 100%. If you're only 90%, you do not do this. If you're at 50%, you definitely don't do this. Okay. It's supposed to be put together to make sure that your family avoids probate if you die and to make sure you have money as you need it. That's the most important thing. Now, a special needs trust is a trust you put together for a disabled person to receive income without reducing their eligibility for public assistance, disability benefits provided by Social Security, supplemental security income, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. So a special needs trust is put in place to make sure your loved one is taken care of for the rest of their life. Okay. It will not affect their Social Security benefits because it isn't a trust. It's a special needs trust. It's only utilized for care. All right. It's not to go out and have a party. Whereas if you give your trust, your irrevocable trust to your children, they can go out and party on you. Remember that because it's now they own it.
Probably happened to some people, huh?
Sorry, excuse me?
It has happened to people in the past, I assume.
We have had children who said, oh yeah, you don't need this money anymore. And they spend it all. Good children. They buy a Ferrari.
Jennifer, for special needs, do they really have to be disabled or?
They typically, when a special needs trust is put in place, it could be someone in assisted living or memory care or a skilled nursing facility. But yes, it can be basically anyone after the age of 65 is considered disabled by the federal government. Okay, so if you're 65, you're already disabled, so you can put together a special needs trust. So let the government think we're disabled. It's totally fine. It's a good thing. Okay, in my world, you're not disabled, but they're the government. What do they know? Okay, I didn't say that out loud. I'm going to get audited now. Watch. Financial options. We're going to plan for future needs now, right? How do you pay for care? How do you pay for the things you need at home to live in your house the rest of your life or move? Personal assets, your savings, your assets, your investments, all right? Your 401ks, your long-term care insurance or benefits such as veterans benefits or Medicaid benefits. That is how you pay for care, okay? So your personal funds, hopefully you have personal funds. And there are rules about taking out your 401k and your simple IRAs. I think, oh gosh, my husband and I just discussed this. I think you can start taking the money. You have to start taking your money at 65, your 401k and stuff. You have to start taking a stipend from that. And you are taxed on it, but you didn't get taxed pre-tax, so it should be fine. And you're making less money, so you'll get taxed less. If you take it early, you will get penalties. But you want to talk to an investment specialist about any of that, not me. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just going to keep saying I'm not these things so that you don't think that, I'm the expert. I'm not. I just touch on things and then I send you on your merry way to the experts. Okay? All right. Long-term care insurance is fabulous. I purchased long-term care insurance at 40. Typically, you want to buy long-term care insurance between 50 and 60. After 60, the prices go extremely high. Okay? If you have a policy, fabulous. You need to know what it covers. There's so many different policies. They only go into effect with need. So let's say I've been paying my policy and tomorrow I need to go into assisted living, or I want to get a home care person to help me at home. Okay. I can call my insurance company and say, I want to put my insurance into effect. I'm going to stop paying and I want to receive now. And they'll say, okay, we'll go ahead and get you on the schedule. Now, my clause in my contract is that I have to pay 90 days privately first, then I start receiving the benefit. Okay. So let's say I go into assisted living, the first 90 days I pay for, and whatever that is, anywhere from 5 to 15,000 a month, which is still a lot less than forever, right? Most
Right.
policies are between 3 and 5 years long in length. There are some open-ended policies out there, which are fabulous, which most people do not have because they stopped selling them because they were going bankrupt because they were paying care for the rest of these people's lives, which, 20, 30 years of care is expensive. There are hybrid life insurance policies, which are ridiculously awesome. They are expensive, but they're worth it. What that means is you have a life insurance policy that if you should die before you need care, your beneficiaries benefit. Okay. If you don't need the life insurance policy anymore because you're 80 or 90, then you can use it for your long-term care purposes. So it converts. So now you're not losing the life insurance, you're using it for your own care, which is kind of fabulous. All right. And if there's money left at the end, your beneficiaries would get it. Everyone understand that? It's really neat. Check it out with an insurance salesman. Not me. Okay. We sell nothing at Elderwerks. Judy, did you have a question?
No, just too late for me for long-term care insurance.
Oh, well, you never know. You can still check into it and then go, yeah, I don't think so. Or, wow, that's not as expensive as I thought. I don't know. Veterans benefits. Veterans benefits are fabulous. Okay, so if you are a veteran or your spouse was a veteran, there are benefits for you. So there's disability compensation, pension, survivor's pension, Agent Orange pension benefits. So let's talk about that. So the VBA disability compensation, or it's called disability or illness originated from an incident while serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. So if something happened to your loved one and they were exposed to something or they lost a limb, they can show a chronic condition. So let's say they were in Afghanistan and they were exposed to Agent Orange or some sort of chemical, because a lot of our military was and they don't even know it. Okay. They can all of a sudden have asthma or diabetes or Parkinson's or something. It has to be a in-service connected incident. And then they get a special disability compensation, such as an 8 for exposure to Agent Orange. Everyone understand that? Okay. I don't know how much it is. It's going to be based on what you need and your issues. Okay. The Veterans and Survivors Pension is interesting. It's one of the most talked about benefits, pensions there is. I've been talking about this pension since 2000. Oh gosh, it's been a long time. 7. We started talking about it, then everyone else started talking about it. Fabulous, which means there's millions of seniors and their loved ones getting this pension now because we talked about it. Just keep in mind the VA is not mandated to talk about all benefits and pensions to you. They're not told they have to. So they may not tell anyone. That's why we started telling people. So the regular pension is considered to be totally disabled and over the age of 65. Okay. Housebound is you're stuck in the house because of a disability. And then there's aid and attendance, which is unable to thrive without the assistance of another person, or blind. Basically, if you were enlisted during a wartime period, you were honorably discharged. You had to be 1 day during a wartime period. You didn't have to be overseas. You could have been in the United States or in Europe, wherever. 90 days enlistment minimum. You can receive this pension. All right. It's for you, your surviving spouse, the couple, or your disabled child. And it's a lot of money. It can help you pay for your care at home or assisted living or greater. I think it's $1,500-ish, don't quote me on the numbers, for the surviving spouse, just for their care. That's extra money to help you, which is important. Okay. Also, I wanted to talk about Agent Orange. So the Vietnam veterans went to Vietnam. Some didn't, some did. The ones that touched ground in Vietnam are automatically qualified to receive a pension for Agent Orange exposure. There's also the Blue Navy. The Blue Navy are the Navy that were floating around Vietnam, but never touched ground. They also can get the Agent Orange exposure pension or disability pension. And then there is some that were on the airplane when Agent Orange was in there before them. So there's a lot of things where during the Vietnam era, people were exposed to Agent Orange. Agent Orange is terrible. Agent Orange caused diabetes, heart disease, Parkinson's disease, cancer, chronic headaches. There's no reason our Vietnam vets are not getting the money that they deserve. They should be at 100% disability and getting the maximum pension for their care. Once you are approved for the veteran survivors pension or the Agent Orange exposure pension or any of those things or benefits, you are automatically qualified for healthcare through the VA and all your prescriptions. Okay, the spouse is not. They don't get that, but they do get money for their care if they were a survivor. Does everyone understand that? I know I'm going through it very fast. But there's a lot to talk about, so we can talk further if you have any questions. Medicaid. So Medicaid is how you pay for your long-term care when you're indigent. All right, when you have less than $2,000 in assets and income, you can go on Medicaid if you need care. There are two places you can live in the state of Illinois that take Medicaid. One is a supportive living facility, which is assisted living for seniors, 65 and older. And then there's long-term care, and that's a skilled nursing facility, also known as a nursing home. The supportive living is a box, so you can have minor issues and live there. So they will help you with bathing, they can help you with dressing, meals, housekeeping, laundry service, things like that. But let's say you need a lot of help, then you can't live there, you have to go to a nursing facility. So Medicaid is going to cover the cost of your care. That means everything's covered, your doctors, your meals, your rent, your care, everything, okay? It can be a hardship for families looking for a skilled nursing facility because most of the good ones won't take long-term care people under Medicaid if you haven't been pre-approved, okay? So let's say you are looking for an immediate need. You have an immediate need, you have to go into long-term care, you have no money, you have not been approved by Medicaid yet. You cannot just go anywhere. You're going to go into a facility that is a 1 to 3 star. So Medicare rates all of the skilled nursing facilities with 1 to 5 star, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. If you're going into long-term care under Medicaid, you're looking at a 1 to 3 star. Okay, so you want to find the best of the mediocre and worst facilities that you can. And you need an advocate. You need someone to visit you all the time and make sure you're taken care of. It's important that you have an advocate. If you're going into a rehab facility, right, short-term rehab, you have choice. You can go to any rehab facility. They should be a 5 star because Medicare pays for it, your private insurance pays for it, or you pay for it out of pocket. So you have choice, but not with Medicaid, not with Medicaid facilities. All right. And if you need help with that, just call Elderwerks. We'll help you through it. You must do your spend down. So if you have any money or you have a house and no one lives there but you, and you need care, you have to sell the house within a year to pay for your care. Okay. So let's say I'm a single woman, I'm living in my house, I now have complete need. I have to go to a skilled nursing facility. I would go to the skilled nursing facility under Medicaid until the house sells. Once the house sells, I pay privately for my care. I reimburse Medicaid. I pay privately for my care until I'm down to $2,000, unless that house was in a trust over 5 years. In an irrevocable trust, and one in your children's name. Okay. Or special needs trust. All right. So again, the look back's 5 years. That means they want to see every single thing you've ever spent over, I think it's $50. Anything you bought over $50, they want to see the receipt. They want to know where the money went, etc. So if you, let's say you gave $10,000 to Jimmy who's going to college, well, Jimmy needs to pay you back. And they will penalize the facility that you're moving into. So they'll say, hey, you had $10,000, where is it? Well, Jimmy used it for college, it's gone. Well, the facility's not gonna get paid now because you had money. So let's say you're paying $5,000 a month for your bed. Well, 2 months, they're not getting paid at that facility. And that is why they won't take people straight up before they're Medicaid approved. Does everyone understand that? So you got to do a lot of planning. It's scary. If you're married, then you have to be married. They can't just be living with you. They can't just be your partner. You have to be married. Your spouse can keep $109,000 in joint tenancy, joint cash, your checking, your investments, etc. The spouse can keep the house and car. But anything that's in joint tenancy is owned by the person needing help. So let's say you have $500,000. Your spouse gets to keep $109,000 of it and the rest gets spent on your care. Once that money's down to $2,000 of your portion, you can go on Medicaid. And this is why you want a trust. This is why you want to see an elder law attorney and protect your assets. Because honestly, let's say you have $100,000 or $200,000. That's not a lot of money. It really isn't. And if you're 70 or 80 and you need to live to 100, who's going to buy you a new robe or a sweater or a blanket or new slippers if you have no money? Okay. When you are on Medicaid, you get $30 a month for incidentals. $30 a month in 2021. What are you going to buy with that?
I have a cousin who is dependent on that right now, and she says, how do they expect me to buy stamps and other essentials and pay my bills with $30 a month?
Exactly. Exactly. That is the issue. That is why you guys need to plan and protect your assets. Because it's so important. I have had people gone through $1 million, $2 million in assets paying for their care, and they're on Medicaid. That's dumb. They have no money. They have no quality of life. It makes me crazy. You can use your money for prepaying your funeral. So let's say you're going to go on Medicaid. Let's say you only have $50,000 and you're going on Medicaid. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You don't have the money for care. So you're going on Medicaid. You can prepay your funeral, which you should do. Your kids are not responsible to bury you or pay for that. And they may not have the money. So let's not do that to them. You can pay to move. So you can pay to move all of your stuff into your facility, right? You can pay for a new bed. So if your bed's uncomfortable and you want a new bed, get a new bed. Keep all the receipts. Whoever your power of attorney is for finance or property is your fiduciary and responsible. So let's say I'm responsible for Mary Alice, okay? And I'm responsible to pay her bills. I'm paying her bills. I'm not keeping track of anything. The government can come and say, where are the bills, la, 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 and I don't have them. They'll make me pay Mary Alice back.
So would you suggest we start saving every receipt for anything over $50 at this point?
Yes. The good news is this. It is 2021. All of your statements are available online. You can get all your bank statements online. Your power of attorney can get your bank statements online unless you're with a bank like Chase, who's a pain in the butt. If you're with Chase and you're retired, I would suggest you leave. They're gonna hate me, and I don't care because they mess with my seniors all the time, and I'm so done with it. A power of attorney document is a legal document, and if someone is disabled and your spouse or loved one is supposed to help pay for your bills, you as the power of attorney should be able to do that, and the bank should be giving you statements when you ask for them and not have to go through rigmarole. Not with Chase. Just be aware. Wintrust is great. I know I'm totally doing commercials. I feel nothing. I have no allies or alliance with any banks. I'm not even banking with Wintrust, but they're really great with seniors. Your local banks like Fifth Third, smaller banks, they typically don't mess with you. Okay, you do not want stress. No more stress. I'm so sick of these banks and people making people stressed out because then they call me crying and I'm like, oh my God, again, it's bad. So living choices. The choice is whose? Yours. Do you want to make the choice yourself? You want to be in control. If you like everybody else making the decisions for you, more power to you. But if you are like me and you like to have some sort of control in your life, you might want to tell people what you want. Kind of important. Okay? So you want to live and enjoy your life. So pick a community that is based on you, your personality, and your whole person. Okay? It's not just about well, I need assisted living. I'm just going to go here. Really? You don't care that the people are jerks? Maybe the people are not, they don't like to read. Maybe they don't like to sew. Maybe they don't like activities. Maybe it's really slow for you and you want more activities. You have to tour. Okay? It's not just a place to put your clothes in your bed. It's a place to thrive. If you're not thriving, you got to go. We're going to talk about all the levels. Okay? Choice. Plan now. And if you don't plan, you have no choice. You get to do what everybody else tells you to do. Yeehaw. Because everybody likes to be told what to do. So here are some options. I'm going to discuss them real quick. We have about a half hour left. So I'm almost done. I won't bore you to death, but I want to tell you a little bit about all of the options. Retirement living and active adult living, that is for those persons over 55 that are active. So I'm 52, my husband's 55. That's us. Woo-hoo, that's where I'm moving. Active lifestyle place. That's where I'm going because I want to play and have fun and have people that are just like me. All right. So that's a real estate transaction. Typically, you're going to buy a house, a condo, a townhome, and you're going to live among persons just like you. All right. They usually have a community center, a fitness center, maybe a swimming pool inside, maybe a swimming pool outside, and some don't. Some just have seniors all living in one place. It just depends where you go. Some of the retirement living, active adult living communities are the Del Webb Sun Cities, Del Webb, Caroline's, Saddlebrook Farms. Now, Caroline and Saddlebrook Farms aren't as active with all of the activities and the amenities of the Del Webb, but they're still great. So you have to figure out what you're going to do. If you're not going to use everything that a Del Webb has to offer, is it really good for you? Maybe, because they might have a ton of people you want to hang with. And it's really about being social and having that community support. So for instance, my husband, again, is 55 and I'm 52. We're going to move to a retirement living, adult living place, and I can live there till I die, right? So let's say I'm 85 and my husband passes away, because I prefer to live longer. So, you know, or I could pass away, whatever. We have a great support system there of like-minded people who will help me through that. Because you don't want to be alone when you're going through the trauma of a death. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Also, during, like, say, there's another COVID outbreak, you're living in a house and you're safe. And if everybody in your neighborhood is still safe and they're going nowhere, you can hang with your neighbors because they're seeing no one but you, right? So you still get socialization. You can go outside and wave at your neighbors and talk to them. If you're living in a house and you don't have that support, you're really by yourself. And that's bad. Independent living. Oh, and retirement living is, like I said, a real estate transaction. That's going to be like buying your house. It's not going to be cheap. You still have to pay for maintenance of the house. You have to pay for a maid inside the house if you don't want to clean. The outside's covered. That's always covered. But you do pay for the landscaper, the HOA, and things like that. It is worth it if that's the lifestyle you want. If you're more of a person who doesn't like to leave their house or apartment, maybe Del Webb's not for you. Then look at different lifestyles for yourself. Independent living is for those older adults and seniors who are mostly independent but need some support. And what I mean by that is they want the meals, the housekeeping, the laundry service, the activities in a central location. It is an apartment setting, okay? So independent living runs between $3,200 and $5,000 a month, depending on where you go. And this is really based on city and areas, all right? So if you're in Chicago or the North Shore, it's gonna be a lot more expensive than, let's say, Woodstock, Harvard, right? Okay. Assisted living is for, and supportive, is for those who need care. You need bathing, dressing, help with your ADLs, your activities of daily living, medication reminders. And then of course you get the housekeeping, the laundry service, the activities, you get 3 restaurant style meals. Everything is covered in assisted living. Okay. Most of the assisted living facilities have doctors that visit. They have a nurse on staff. They may be there only from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., but they're always on call should something happen. There are CNAs there to help you with your ADLs, so someone's there to help. And during a lock-in situation, you get 3 touches. So you have three people visiting you a day, bringing you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and making sure you're okay, which is important. Okay, it's very important. Supportive living is the exact same thing as assisted living, but they accept Medicaid. They're much more strict on your issues though, because independent living and assisted living are all private pay. That's out of your pocket. Supportive living can be out of your pocket and you're doing a spend down. You can pay privately or you can be on Medicaid. It doesn't matter. There's no scarlet letter. Everyone's treated the same. They're beautiful buildings because most of them are new or newer. But if you do have minor issues and you just need, maybe you just need assistance to the dining room, or maybe you just need someone to be near the shower when you're bathing because you're not so steady on your feet. No big deal. You can go to a supportive living. There's no reason to go to a skilled nursing facility because of that. Assisted living in Illinois runs, I'd say 3,800 to 12,000 a month, depending on where you're going, what city you're living in. I know it's expensive. Depends on a lot of things. Memory care is for those with cognitive impairment. Now, dementia. Dementia is the umbrella for all memory loss. It just means loss of mind. Okay, so when someone says dementia, God knows how you got it. You don't know why. It could be from a brain injury. It could be from Parkinson's. It could be from Huntington's. It could be from Alzheimer's. It could be from 1,000 things. You don't know, right? But if you have to go into a memory care facility, what that means is you're going to assisted living with a memory care component. They're going to do reminiscence. They're going to try to keep you at the memory loss you're currently at so you don't lose your mind faster, if you will. There's going to be structured days. There's going to be activities based on your memory, and everything is about that person's issues. Okay. So let's say I'm entry level memory loss. I'm just starting to lose my mind. I know that I'm forgetting things. That's your beginning stage. And then you have your mid stage, and I only do 3 stages. The Alzheimer's Association says there's 10. That's nice. It's too much. We do 3. Beginning, middle, end. Okay. The beginning is, you know, you're losing your mind. The middle is, you don't know you lost your mind because you've lost it. And you are who you think you are. So maybe today I'm an 85-year-old female, but I think I'm 17. So guess who I am? I'm a 17-year-old female doing 17-year-old things. Yeah, fun, huh? At 17, are you married? No. Do you have children? No.
What?
So who is this the hardest on? Your loved ones.
Family.
Yes,
Yeah.
the family. So the family needs counseling. The person with dementia is fine. They're being taken care of, all is well. It's the kids and the grandkids who are freaking out because grandma doesn't remember them, or grandma's got a boyfriend and grandma's still married. But grandma doesn't know she's married. So things like that. Those are things that happen. It happens. So what? Doesn't change the person. You need to accept the person they've become and who they are at where they are. All right. You can't say, I just told you this a minute ago, Mom. Mom, why aren't you listening to me? I just told you, Mom, why aren't you eating, Mom? Okay. Now is the time to go get some help to figure out how to care for your loved one. And if you are like me, I'm a very feisty person. I can't take care of people like that. I mean, like my mom and dad, they're getting some dementia. I'm terrible because I have 0 patience. Why would I want them to live with me or for me to take care of them? I'd be a horrible caregiver, right? You need to know your limits. You can be the best human in the world, but you need to know your limits. And you should never.
And if they haven't protected their assets, then there could be trouble there too.
Correct. Yes, there could be trouble there too. But you need to make sure you're 100% on board with whatever you've agreed to. And never, ever, ever, ever say, Mom, I'll never put you in a nursing home. That is the worst thing you could ever do because now you've got guilt. Because guess what? You might end up in a nursing home. There's nothing you can do about that. It is life. L'chaim, okay? And then there's a CCRC. CCRCs are fabulous. They are continuous care retirement communities. They have independent living, assisted living, and skilled nursing all on the same campus. It is Cadillac living, country club style living. What that means to you is you will get the best quality of life you could ever imagine. You can live in the same place forever, but it is expensive, correct? You have to put a deposit down of anywhere from $130,000 to $1 million down, typically. And then you pay a monthly fee based on how much you deposit and your life care plan. So let's say I want to move into a CCRC and I put down, let's just say $500,000. And the plan is a 90% plan. What that means is if I die or move out, my loved one, my heirs, whoever will get 90% of that $500,000 when I leave or die. Okay. The monthly fee is to pay for your housekeeping, your laundry service, the greenery, the lifestyle. Okay. That's your monthly, which is you're going to have to pay anyway. Also, when you make that deposit, you're guaranteeing care for the rest of your life. So as long as you have money and can pay for it, you can get there's two options. Well, there's a few options. I'm only going to generally speak because they're all different. Okay. You can get the assisted living and the skilled at today's rate, or you can get assisted living and skilled at the future rate and be guaranteed care, right? Or you can get a certain amount of skilled per year to rehab you. So let's say you get knee surgery, you can go to skilled and get care for 14, 21 days, and it's part of your program. There's 1,000 different programs, but it's a lifestyle. If you've got a lot of money, it's actually a great lifestyle. If you don't, there's still other great lifestyles. It's just in different places. So you can start an independent living today, and then maybe you need assisted living. You can stay in the same building, just a different floor. Okay. Or maybe you stay in your independent living department and bring in a caregiver, but you're still in the same building. So it's really based on who you are, what you want, what's really happening, what your future is. There's a whole person thing here. Okay. Group homes are houses with people. They're usually nurse oversight. The owner might be a nurse, or they hire a nurse to help oversight that house. So you can have anywhere from 4 people to, let's say, 10 people in the same home. They have their own bedrooms. They might have a shared bathroom, or maybe they have their own bathroom. There's a communal kitchen and activities, but it's like living in your own house, but with other people.
Do we
Okay.
have those in the Chicagoland area?
We do. They start about $5,000 a month. And it depends on who you are. So for me, and I always use me because I know me best. I don't really know your lifestyles. Okay. I am very active and I like lots of things all the time. I need to be busy. A group home wouldn't be really suitable for me because I'd make them all crazy. Okay. Because I'd be like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And they'd be like, leave me alone, I'm watching TV, or I'm outside gardening or whatever. And that's not my thing. So you got to make sure wherever you're moving, and the choice is yours, that it meets you. All right. Sheltered care is between assisted living and skilled nursing. All right. They can do everything a skilled nursing facility can do, except for vents, trachs, and feeding tubes. That means you're living in a residential setting in your own apartment, and you have everything you could ever want in terms of nursing care, because there's a nurse on site 24 hours a day. You will always get care. You can get your psych appointments there. You can get your doctors there. You can get your dentist there. Everything's there for you. Okay. So if you have a lot of money, you can move into sheltered care and avoid going into skilled nursing, unless you're on a vent, trach, or feeding tube. So let's say I need a 2-man assist. I need a lot of help because I have some issues. All right. Sheltered care will take me as long as I have a lot of money. Sheltered care is between $7,000 and $15,000 a month. Okay. But it's worth it if you can afford it. And then skilled nursing, we did discuss your rehab versus your long-term care. Skilled nursing facilities really are end of life unless it's rehab. That's not the end of life, but long-term care is really end of life, total care, need help. All right. And they're chronically sick. So we want to avoid that. Now we have to just touch on this before we end, is end of life. This is the end of our program. We're talking about end of life. So you need to plan what you want for your end of life. All right. If you love your family, you will set up all your legal documents and have everything in order so they don't go through hell at the end of your life. And I'm going to tell you, many seniors don't do this. There are thousands of people who call us and say, Mom didn't plan. Mom now needs help. What do we do? There's nothing in order. She's told them nothing. She's basically squirreled all the information in her own head and didn't share. They don't know where the documents are. They don't know if she has any debt. They don't know if she has any assets. They don't know if she has any money. They know nothing. Now they have to do research and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours trying to figure out what mom has, what they can do for mom, etc. It is a nightmare. All right. Advanced directives also are important. It's also called a living will. This is part of your legal planning. What you do is you tell your power of attorney for healthcare what you want in this document. The advanced directives could be, I want everything done in the entire world to keep me alive forever. Till I'm dead. I want you to do everything. Okay, that's your choice. Okay, or maybe it says, I want everything done, but I do not want a feeding tube. I don't want a trach. I don't want CPR. Or it can say, if I can't be the person I am today, let me die. So these are all personal decisions. Every human's different. You have to tell your loved ones what you want. Do this document. If you do nothing else, if you don't care about money, fine, let it all go. But your advance directives are important because you do not want your loved ones making decisions on your behalf that you didn't want for yourself. Okay? So my end of life planning, my advance directives state, because I'm young, right? I'm only 52 still. If I was 90, that's different, or 100, but I'm only 52. I want everything done to keep me alive as long as I can still perform my normal life. I do not want to be in a coma. I do not want to be on a feeding tube for the rest of my life and to be an invalid. That is in my advance directives. And my family knows this. I've tell everybody, and now it's recorded. Do not do it, because can you imagine? You could be in a coma, you could be in bed, your brain could still move, maybe not, but you can't do anything. And can you imagine laying in a bed for 20, 30, 40 years like that? Like Terry Schiavo? No, thank you. Right. So research, figure out what you want, talk about it. Be verbal. It's important. All right. And if someone doesn't want to hear it, they're probably not the one you want to, appoint your power of attorney. Because if they don't care, that's not the person you want. Now, hospice and palliative care is at the end of life when someone's dying. Okay, they have 6 months or less of life left. Hospice and palliative care are fabulous. It's really for the living too. Okay, so hospice is for the dying and the counseling of those who are loving the person dying, and palliative care is for pain management. You can get palliative care today and not be dying. That just means they're making sure you don't have pain, and no one should have pain, right? So hospice and palliative care are awesome, and it's a whole group of people. So it includes your clergy, your rabbi, there's counselors, there's doctors, there's nurses, there's social workers. There's a whole group of people helping this person pass with dignity. And that's important. And then the person passes and all the love that was around them, they get the support they need so they can make it through your passing. Because not everybody is old when they go on hospice. When my mother-in-law passed away, God bless her soul, there was a 6-year-old at hospice. How do you think those parents felt? You think they could survive that on their own? No. So don't be too proud to say, yes, I like hospice and palliative care. And guess what? We've had people who graduated off hospice because they lived. What do you want? Sometimes you don't die. We've had people who were on hospice over and over and over again, and they live 5-10 years more. You just don't know. But guess what? They had really great quality life while they were on hospice, let me tell you. And hospice is paid for by Medicare. It's your right to have it. So it's not out of pocket. Okay. All righty. Does anyone have any questions for me? Because I like questions. Or I told you everything and you're all learned. Yes, Mary.
Hi, everyone. I have 2 questions. Where do you get a lot of money? You keep saying we need okay. Next question. Kind of like to find some, or maybe we'll win that lottery for getting our vaccine. Who knows? Second thing I'd like to share with the group, I have reached out to Elderwerks. My mom was in hospice. She passed in March, and now I'm transitioning, was looking for a place to live for my partner and I. And they recommended independent living. So I've been looking around, and as Jennifer referenced, Del Webb community in Huntley. It's a big change because I live in the city, north side all my life. But it does have a lot of really nice things. So now that I've found a place, I have a real estate lady who's looking, but I'm also thinking of Arlington Heights because one time Jennifer said, oh, if I would like Arlington Heights where I can just walk outside and get some coffee and shop around. So I told my real estate lady, well, what about Arlington Heights? So, because they got a train, blah, blah, blah. So we're looking. It's kind of rough right now. Everything, I put a bid and it's going up, up, up. So we'll see. I have the gift of time because we kind of inherited this 2-flat my brother and sister, but they're tapping their toe a little bit. Not too much time, Mary. But I also wanted to ask a little bit about downsizing and preparing to move. I don't know if this applies to anyone else, but if you could just give a few tips.
Oh, for sure. Well, you know, I'm an expert in that, right?
Yay!
I have a lot of hats, just so you're all aware. So I also own Paxum, which is a Pack and Move A+ accredited senior move manager. So I am an expert in the downsizing and moving process. So let's use you. We're going to use you, Mary Alice, because you've already spoken up about your planning to move. Okay, so I'm just going to use you as my guinea pig here. So Mary Alice and her partner are looking at housing right now. They are looking at an active retirement community or a community that accepts older adults and supports them. That is what she's looking for. Fabulous. Love that. She's not in a hurry. Perfect place to be, because she's not doing a knee-jerk reaction. She's doing the planning. So she knows what she's looking for, right? In her head, she knows what she wants. She knows what size. She knows kind of the area, things like that. Perfect. So now when she goes back home, it's now time to declutter. If you do not have a very high-end house with high-end things, there's no reason really to have an estate sale, okay? Especially if you're a minimalist or it's mostly 80s furniture, used furniture. I mean, you've loved it, you've used it, it's dead. You don't need to sell it, great. So let's say Mary Alice is just in a normal house with very well-loved and used furniture. It's just general fodder, nothing of high-end. There's no reason to take it. There's no reason to sell it. We're just using that. I have no clue what your house looks like, Mary Alice, okay? So what I would tell you to do is declutter everything you do not use every day because you don't need it, right? Take only the things you love and must take with you. Nothing worn out. Couches that when you sit down, you hit the floor, they don't go. Couches without arms, they don't go. Chairs without arms, they don't go. Glass tables, do not go. Throw rugs, burn them. Okay, all of these things are bad for you as you age. Throw rugs, you will slide, fall, and now your life is over. It is not the same. I have had clients who are perfectly independent and they fall and hit their head. And now they are not the same person at all. Zero resemblance of how they were yesterday. And now they're in a facility for cognitive impairment or a skilled nursing facility because they can't take care of themselves instantly. And it's because of what? Throw rugs. Get rid of them, burn them, not allowed, ever, okay? The reason we don't take glass tables is if you do fall and you hit that glass table, you're gonna be seriously injured. I prefer round wood tables. Round wood has soft edges, okay? So you don't really want a rectangle or a square with sharp edges. You can get a rectangle or square with curved edges, that's fine, all right? The reason you want arms on every single chair and couch you have is so you can get up. You can push off on those arms to get up. Otherwise, you might tip off the chair. And this doesn't mean today. We're planning for all future needs, okay? You want a bed and a couch that's firm, but not too firm that it hurts your back. You want to be able to sit down and be comfortable, but be able to get up easily, all right? I like recliners. I know everyone's like, ew, recliners. You know, recliners are awesome because if you're sick and you need to sleep upright, you can sleep in your recliner. It still goes back. Or you can get a sleep number bed that has the, you know, up and down, and then you can change the thickness of the air. I don't know how even you say that, right? How firm the bed is. You can make it softer, you can make it harder. So as you age and you need different things, that bed's still useful to you. Okay, I'm getting one, by the way. Thank you, I cannot wait. Yeah, and if you do have a partner or a husband or whatever, and they snore, they're snoring because they're back. If you have a bed that goes up a little, you can just put it up a little and you actually release some of that pressure and you don't snore as much. Unless you have, you know, sleep apnea, which is different. Things you want to get rid of now, books you'll never read again. Everyone's like, I'll read books again. No, you probably won't. If you haven't touched it in over a year or 2 or 5 or 10 or 30, books can go. Magazines and newspapers, recycle them now. Mayonnaise jars, any of the used goods, right? Like that. Mayonnaise jars, used Ziplocs, ties, twist ties, all of the stuff that you've kept for just in case storage. You don't move that, okay? Stop buying in bulk. That means no more Costco and no more Sam's Club. We're not doing that. Just the thing to remember is anytime you're moving, and you're gonna get services because you're older. You have to hire someone to pack it. You have to buy the box. You have to hire a mover to load it, to drive it, to unload it, and then you have like a Paxum or someone else set up your apartment. That item's been touched 6 times. How many times could you have rebought that item? That is what you want to think about. Okay, so food stuff. Do you really want to take the food stuff? Well, if you're moving locally and you're putting it in your car, sure, why not? You're free. Okay. Otherwise, donate to food pantry. Paper goods, Kleenex, paper towels, toilet paper. It's all bulky, and you have to buy a box to put it in. So why are you doing that? Right? Start using everything you have now. Just use it down. Use it down. Yes, Judy.
How do we get rid of furniture we don't need to with us?
How do I give furniture you don't need to who?
Need to take with us. We're not going to take certain items if we move.
Right. Okay, so there's 2 ways to get rid of things you don't need that are of value. You can donate it to your local charity. Keep in mind, charities are booked up right now 3 to 6 weeks in advance. So you need to book them early. Find out when they're coming out, and then you have to probably put it down, bring it down to the main floor or outside. Some of them won't even go up your stairs. You have to find out what their abilities are. You have to tell them also what you're going to give them. I'm going to have 6 bags of clothes and donatables plus this much furniture. They need to know ahead of time. Typically, they have 1 guy on the truck. If it's supersized furniture, they won't take it. They won't take entertainment units. They won't take dining room sets if they're supersized and 80s era, right? Or well used. They don't take anything with chips, cracks, breaks, anything that needs to be refurnished right now because they're busy. They don't need it. They don't need
So
it.
we need to get a dumpster.
Dumpster. Fabric furniture, not taken unless it's brand new. If you have a cat or a dog and you have furniture, if it's not wood, they're not taking it. So yeah, the dumpster, or you can call junk relief. Yes, I'm giving junk relief a commercial because they are very good. I use junk relief every day for my clients. There are other waste haulers. Use who you want. I don't care. The only reason I like junk relief is they're always nice. They're really good at what they do. They're very supportive, and they do whatever it takes to make sure the client's happy. They've actually driven a suitcase with clothing back to a client that was accidentally removed because the client didn't tell them not to take it. 15 minutes before the limo arrived, and they were going to Florida permanently. So he took a Saturday morning and did that. Who does that? They do. So I only support businesses that support my clients. I only give money to people I like. So businesses, I'm not going to shop or go to a restaurant where they're jerks because they're not getting my money, right? It's just my choice.
Gotta go. Sorry. Thank you much.
No problem. So yes, a dumpster is fine too. If you're working with someone who's a collector or hoarder, a dumpster is not a good idea because they'll go out and take it and put it back. Just so you know. So we always haul it away same day. Okay. Also, if you have bad neighbors, they'll use your dumpster, and that you have to pay for to get rid of. So it just depends on your situation. All right. So those are just some tips. So eat your food, use your paper goods, get rid of your books, your newspaper, your magazines, and like old tubs for mayonnaise or butter. You don't need any of that. Anything you haven't worn in a year, you're not going to wear it. And if you're moving, why would you move it? And if you do want to go down in sizes or up in sizes, you can always go shopping again. There's no reason not to, unless you are, on a budget. But typically clothing with stains, rips, tears, that pill, the sweaters that pill and leave fur behind you, all that can go. That's all cheap stuff. Anything from a store that's disposable, you know those stores where everything's disposable. The shirts are $5 each. You don't need to keep those. You can get them again for $5 each. Things like that. If you love it, take it. And one further tip before we go is use Post-it notes. So what I always tell my clients is make 2 lists. One is I must take with me, and one is I want to take with me. So the first list of I must take is your bed, right? Clothing, shoes, the important things that you can't live without. Your everyday necessities. The wants are the things that you just want because you love them. You love your collections, but you can't take them all. So for instance, let's say you collect Yadros and you have 100 Yadros. You need to dissect which Yadros are the most important. So you say Yadro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, put them in order. Or I want my Yadros, I want my family photos, I want my blankets, I want my art, whatever. So you make your Post-it notes. Then when you have your 100 Post-it notes of everything you want, you put them in the order of importance, okay? So the number one thing I have to take with me that I only really want is the family photos, right? Because I love my family. So that would be number one. Number two would be, I love my art. I really want to take my art. Number three is whatever it is. See what I'm saying? Put it in order. Then when you get to the bottom of the Post-it notes list, you can go, yeah, I really don't need those last 20 items. So you can pull them and throw it away. And then you can donate those items or sell those items or gift those to your children. But you also pack in that order. So when Paxum packs for you, or you pack for yourself, you're going to pack in the order of necessity first, and then the wants. So box 1 through 50, let's say, because that's a lot of boxes, you guys, are all your wants and must takes. That's important to you. And then box 51 through 100 are your optional things. So when you go to your house and you start unboxing everything, you start at box 1, and then you get to box 30 and there's no more room. Guess what happens with those other boxes? Because they don't fit. Okay, it's important to box in the order of importance and open in the order of importance, and you'll never have issues. If you do not do this, you will have chaos when you're setting it up, and you will have way too much stuff in your house, and you will be upset because you're downsizing. And downsizing is so hard because you love everything. Trust me, I know, because I love kitchen stuff and I can't take it all, right? So I'm going to do the same thing for myself. So always be organized with your thought process and be objective. Downsizing is important. Sometimes we do have to go back and tweak because people don't listen to us the first time, right? And that costs you what? Money. So try to save money and be organized with your thoughts and your packing. And whenever you pick a senior community, final thought, it's got to be based on you and the people you're going to live with, because these people you're going to live with a long time. So let's say you're moving in an independent living building and they're mean and it's like high school, kids. Senior living is just like high school. How many liked everybody in high school? No one. How many really love the popular kids who look down on you? No one. So remember, senior living is kind of like high school. You want to find your people. All right. That's the end of my presentation. I'm going to go ahead and end here, stop the share, and I'm going to stop recording. And I'm